Tara, thank you so much for doing this. I've been following your journey on social media for a while. Can you introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are and what you do for a living?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Tara, and I am a tenured professor of sexual communication at Cal State University Fullerton. And on top of that, I have a private practice as a sex coach in Los Angeles. And what I do for fun is social media. So I have my podcast, Instagram, TikTok that is popping right now. I think at 1.7 million followers. So follow me. And other than that, I just enjoy living in LA, going on hikes, and eat well.
Are you do you think it'd be possible if a guy on social media had the same like academic credentials could do what you do on social media and be successful?
I think so, but I think a lot of guys don't approach it the way I do. Well, not even a lot of guys, just a lot of people don't approach it the way I do.
I mean, you're pretty forthcoming with everything. You're like your
Yeah.
quick videos on Instagram will be like, I think one of the latest ones I saw was like about loads or like big loads,
Yeah.
and you're real quick about it. It's real catchy. So, how did you come into this work? I mean, what inspired you to do this?
Um, Professionally, when I was in graduate school, I studied relationships. I've always been interested in relationships and sex. Like I was a horny little kid. Like when I was a teenager, I was very sexually inquisitive. But professionally, like I started studying relationships, and then I realized from studying that the number one issue that long-term couples have is sex. There's many other little issues that people get through. People have arguments. That's okay. Like conflict is healthy. But the number one issue that tends to be like home breaker is sex issues. So ever since then, I've always wanted to be a part of a solution of something like in the world, right? Like since I was young, I was like, what can I be a part of? And ever since learned that sex is like the biggest issue in long-term relationships, I just realized like I want to be a part of the solution.
So, growing up, your background, what is your heritage?
Hi. So I'm originally from Thailand. I moved here for school.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So I'm not from here. No, I'm not American. And English is not my first language.
So I imagine, I guess I can't imagine, but what was your parents' reaction like whenever you decided that you wanted to explore this line of work?
For my dad, it's a little difficult because it's like, oh, his little girl is like out here telling people to like suck his balls. But we like a lot of Asian descent people, our parents and us, we don't talk about stuff like that. So my dad has never mentioned it once. So when people ask him like, oh, what does your daughter do? He just says like, she's a professor. And kind of brush it off like that. But my mom actually has been growing with me quite a bit. Like she's been, commenting on my videos, watching all of that. She's on TikTok. She got TikTok just to watch my videos. And she just thinks it's hilarious. And she thinks like, I think herself, like she's seen it in herself how much like sex can become something that weighs you down or enhances you. And she has seen how much it has enhanced me. So I think she supports it. And yeah, she's been really sweet and supportive. My dad, not so much, but he does nothing to like, it's like nothing against it. He just like brush it off.
Right.
You mentioned earlier about sex being one of the greatest problems in people's relationships. If we were to break that down even more, what are like the specific problems typically?
The main issue in heterosexual relationships is sexless marriages.
Really? So, I mean, what is it? But that has to stem from something else, right? Like usually it's like arguments, which when couples argue, then they're probably not having sex. So, I mean, can you talk about that a little bit or?
You can say otherwise. They are arguing because they're not having sex.
Oh, shit.
If you're having amazing sex, what do you think happens in a relationship?
You just have sex all the time.
You just have sex. You're happy with your partner, and y'all want to be around each other more and communicate.
And it is
more.
definitely not like a fix all. Yeah,
Right.
like good disclaimer. I'm not here to say like sex solves everything. It solves a lot of things. It doesn't solve everything. Like if you have a narcissistic partner, like it's not going to change them, right? If you have an abusive partner, like that's not going to change them. So if you have a shitty partner, good sex doesn't change anything. However, if you're both good people and you're in a relationship that has very dry sex life, where one person or both people don't initiate sex, and when you do have sex, it's very like robotic, monotonous, no passion. And if you've been together 10, 15 years, like you feel how much that is taxing on you. And it's a huge problem. I think we see it a lot in middle-aged people, like people in their late 30s and 40s. If they've had one partner, you will start to see how much, people who are having like a fulfilling sex life and people who don't. You can see it in their energy, in their face, in how they interact with the world, their skin.
Yeah. So, I mean, what are some recommendations? Like if you, so I imagine you help couples, you consult with couples or even singles. If a couple's having issues when in the relationship, what are some things that you could, recommend that can help them have more sex and possibly have a healthier relationship?
That's a really broad question.
Okay.
Because as we investigate, we will find deeper issues. For example, let's say a married couple, okay, like heterosexual man, woman, haven't had sex for 8 months, which is not normal. Let's say the husband is very frustrated, but also has stopped initiating sex completely because every time he has tried, his wife has either said yes, but like half-heartedly, or has said no, not in the mood, my stomach hurts, I ate too much, I'm tired, the kids are running around, but whatever reason, she has said no. So this man for 8 months has experienced a lot of rejection and half-heartedly, like, engaging in intimate actions with his wife. Like, of course, she has her reasoning too to why she has been rejecting it. Perhaps it's not just she's busy or stomach hurts or ate too much or kids. Perhaps she hasn't been having great sex. Perhaps she doesn't want to have sex with you, right? Maybe it's not she doesn't want sex, but she doesn't want sex with you.
Shit.
So that's something that I tell couples all the time. Like, hey, it's tough, but listen, a lot of times I have individual sessions with women who self-report, oh, I don't love sex. Like I have very low drive. I have low desire. I don't care about sex that much. Okay, fair, right? I give this scenario. Tell me who's your celebrity crush. Who do you think is like the most handsome person right now? They'll say someone, let's say Brad Pitt. And I go, okay, like, let's say, you're at a bar, you're like having a glass of wine with girlfriends. Brad Pitt walked in and he approaches you and he's like, I have never seen a woman as beautiful as you. And I'm so attracted to you. Would you like to go make out? Would you go make out with him? Almost 99.9% everyone says yes.
I would. Sure.
So you're saying you will have sex with Brad Pitt, but not your husband. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, so you don't want to have sex with him. You're not attracted to him. You don't desire him. That's the problem.
So what happens at that point?
Yeah, how do you get past that point? You just switcheroo or what?
Go find Brad Pitt?
Well, there's so many, many creative ways to approach boredom and lack of desire. And it just depends on how, traditional or edgy or kinky the couple is. With couples that are kind of open-minded and new age and kind of wanting to try different things, there are a lot more options to try. But with couples that are like, oh, we're traditional, we want to remain with just each other, we want to try something just between each other, there are a couple of things that you can do. The first thing is to do a sex fast and a sex feast. Have you ever heard about that?
Oh, I know what fasting is. So.
I know what a feast is.
What is fasting?
Well, you don't do it.
Yeah.
You don't do it for a certain amount of time.
Right.
Yes. So it is like food, like it's like fasting for food. So you both commit to fasting for a certain period of time, and it could be 2 weeks. But this is not like a regular like no sex, because that's easy for a lot of people. For a lot of people that like, haven't had sex for like 3 months, that's super easy. But it's no touch, like no touch whatsoever. No hugs, no kisses, no touching hands, no holding hands. Like you sit apart. So it's called sensory starvation. It allows for the body to reset and realize like, oh shit, maybe I do need my husband's touch. Maybe I do love, these like little touches that show affection, and I miss it a lot. And maybe that could help bring back this kind of like reminded desire, which we usually like recommend in sex therapy to like couple that with then sex feast. And sex fast is like no touch, no affection for 2 weeks. And then the feast is, again, like not penetrative sex every single day, but sexual activity every single day for 2 weeks. So you fast for 2 weeks and then you're starved. Then you feast for 2 weeks. And hopefully this feast helps reset the whole relationship. Hopefully it helps reminding you that you do love this person, you desire their touch, but perhaps you have like lost sight, or just lost the attraction for their, maybe physicality, their personality and whatnot. So the feast itself, when people say like, oh, I can't have penetrative sex every day, you don't have to. There's so many sexual things you can do. You can masturbate together. You can watch porn together. You can use toys on each other. You can just give a sensual massage. You can make out for 20 minutes, get wet and do nothing. You can, there's so many different things you can do. And there's a whole list that like sex therapists usually give out to people. But there's a whole thing, like a whole list of things that you can choose to do that feels comfortable for you. But the goal is you have to commit to 2 weeks. Every single day you do something sexual.
Wow, that seems really effective. Try it out.
Is it? I imagine like afterwards it's pretty effective, but it probably wears off after a while, huh?
Yeah, like anything else, I think those your sexual wellness needs maintaining. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is. It's so nuanced because people are dealing with work-life balance and kids. I was curious to ask you how does social media play into some of these consults that you're doing? Are there a lot of problems caused by social media activity, like maybe guys liking girls' accounts or following these fitness influencers or things like that? Does that ever come up?
Yeah. Yes, actually. But it was the other way around. It was the girlfriend was following, a lot of guy friends like from work or from like her gym. And then the boyfriend was really jealous, and he's like, I don't want you to have even like a social media account. I want you to deactivate your Instagram. So yeah, like I've seen something like that where jealousy would come up. Another thing I've seen coming up with using a lot of social media is you being reminded of quote unquote potential mates, right? Because maybe you're sitting on the couch next to your long-term partner, you look over and they are, like sloppy. They don't care about you. They don't even look at you. They don't, and you look at it and you feel undesired. And you also are not attracted to this person. And then you're looking online and then you find all these attractive people. And what your brain tells you with using social media and seeing attractive people on there is potential mate alert, right? Your brain doesn't know that person's not going to like you or may not like you back. Your brain just knows, whoa, availability. And that's a part of why a lot of men are addicted to porn. Is when you watch porn and you see attractive women, your brain just thinks available mate. It doesn't think like relationally, right? It just, available mate. So same thing with social media. When you see a lot of attractive women or men, you may get into like a comparison mode with the person you're with. and then realize like, oh shit, like this is not the life I choose. And then this is where people either have a fixed mindset where they go, well, fuck it, like this is my life now and I'm just going to be miserable, or just having mediocre satisfaction in life, and that's okay. And I have no judgment for people that choose that path either, because I think it's to each their own. But then there's growth mindset people where, whoa, babe, we got to do something. Like, we only have this one life to live, like YOLO. We gotta either seek out a sex coach, read sex book together, listen to a podcast together, watch porn together, do something to change the dynamic that we're having right now. And that's typically people with a growth mindset. And I assume people that listen to a podcast like yours, right, who are like learning and improving in their life and interested in wellness and well-being, a lot of those people are now realizing, if they've been in a long-term relationship that's not very sexually fulfilling, they are realizing that they should do something.
I think, like, you know, you're talking about the fast and feast. It would be good to join that with fast and feast of social media too. Maybe not the feast, but fasting of social media too, because I feel like that's probably going on. There's a comparison constantly, and thinking that your partner is not, you know, as good as someone you're seeing online. So if you didn't see anybody for 2 weeks and you're not touching your partner for 2 weeks, that'd be like just an explosion of like affection.
During this fasting, are they allowed to masturbate?
Oh no, you're not allowed to receive any kind of like affection, not even self.
Okay. Oh shit. Yeah. Times are hard out there.
It's good. It's also, I think it's, I mean, obviously a lot of people think, well, that's like easy for women. Not all women. There are a lot of women I know, like at least most of my friends are really horny. So it's not like all women. And some men are also, you know, they also participate in this like no sex lifestyle. As much as, you know, long-term couples want to think it's the women, I think as much as like men are as like equally responsible, because it's either they let themselves go or they don't make it like that sexy in the bedroom or outside the bedroom. They don't romanticize, you know, their partner. Maybe don't share a lot of compliments, and vice versa. It's not like men versus women. It's never men versus women. But I think it's like two people. It's both people's problem.
What do you think about, I hearing a lot of guys, especially like even rappers and celebrities, like withholding from sex purposely, like to like harness chi and you know be more conscious and things like that. Have you heard that, where maybe a partner is doing that and the other one doesn't want to do that, and they're doing like tantra acts and, you know, kind of getting into that?
I think that's so interesting. And, you know, I'm a little biased because I'm academically trained. So scientifically speaking, like daily masturbation is healthy, you know, but when you're talking about chi and like chakras, then that's like past the realm of science. That's like metaphysical, in which I'm starting to believe in now. Like I'm a late bloomer when it comes to, you know, spirituality and stuff like that. So I've just been learning it like the last 4 to 5 years. And honestly, I think if they feel like it's working for them, it's most likely placebo, but it works. If it works, I think it's good for them. So if, you know, they were going to be like, oh, this is no fab month, that's cool. Like if you think it works for you, if afterwards you feel like you have explosive cum and like amazing sex, like hell yeah, like you do you know, like I support people that have like clear vision of what they want to do and what they want to achieve, even though it's a different method from me. My experience is the more you don't have sex, the more likely you're going to lose it. Like everything, the skills, the emotions, the movement, like all of it that combines, like that makes it good sex. I feel like if you don't use it, you lose it. So people that go on like celibacy for like a year, I wouldn't want to be the first girl that fucked that guy afterwards.
His dick will probably
So
fall
like, you're
off.
not gonna be that good, bro. You'll probably come in 5 seconds.
But what
I'll
if he
probably
doesn't?
be like, Daddy, you're so hot, and he'll probably come.
Making me come right now.
Exactly. So I'm like, I don't know. Like scientifically, there's nothing is wrong with like coming every day.
I've heard different. I thought like, guys masturbating every day. Like I think Dr. Andrew Huberman talks about like not masturbating because it's detrimental to your mental health. It does something, from a psychological perspective into the brain, and it turns on all these like bad neurotransmitters. But is that not correct? Or I mean, because there's always like two sides.
If you don't,
right?
yeah, no, that is, but perhaps like a certain clip is taken from that talk. That is if you don't attend to your partner.
Mm.
Like there are men who will just masturbate forever and just watch porn every day, masturbate every day, and never develop real relationship. And that's problematic for sure. But if you were to say, like, let's say you're dating someone and you have sex with them 3 times a week, it's okay if the other 2, 3, 4 times a week you want to masturbate. Right. But I think it becomes a relational problem, but also could possibly be a neural problem as well. If you become reliant on just masturbation, then you lose out on like social interaction, romantic relationships, good feelings, and all that.
I got the golden question. I think I got the right person to answer it. So when guys come, they tip, like it's well known that they don't feel great afterwards. They like feel like regretful, and no matter how long you've been with somebody, it's like kind of a well-known thing. And I always chalk that up to like maybe you're depleting like dopamine or serotonin, and then you're having to like level up. Why do we hear that story and some people experience that where as soon as you come, it's like,
isn't there a word for it, like a phrase for it?
I think so. It's that popular to where it's like it probably would have a name. But have you heard that?
Post-nut clarity?
Yes, post-nut clarity, yes.
I like how she had that in the back. She's like, I'm ready to thop this thing off.
I'm on Reddit. I know what the boys are talking about.
All right, say it again. What was it?
Post-nut clarity.
Okay, so what is the science behind this?
So the science states that only affects people who don't particularly like have trust and closeness and love with their sexual partner. So this phenomenon happens a lot more with casual sex people. It happens sometimes with long-term relationships when there is a rift in the relationship. Like you don't even, you're not even attracted to your person. Then of course, like after you come, you're like, ugh, I hate my wife.
Yes. I hate
my wife. Like, that could happen. But as research will show, it does not happen physiologically when it comes to hormones. Like actually, dopamine is released when you have an orgasm. So when men have an orgasm, you have dopamine and oxytocin. So they're all feel-good stuff. However, these may have different effects if you don't particularly find your sexual partner, number one, extremely attractive. Number two, you definitely trust this person. You have closeness and intimacy. And then number three, you feel like you want to see them again. So yeah, it's a huge phenomenon in casual sex populations. There's a whole huge like Reddit thread of men talking about that.
That's a thing. I remember when I was like DJing in clubs and hooking up with girls, and like I wanted to do it really bad, and then after the deed was done, I was like, I need to leave as quickly as possible.
You didn't love them.
No.
Yeah.
Those post-nut clarity.
Do you guys have partners?
I'm married.
Yeah, we're each other's partners.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Love it.
So I hate every time. It's like, damn, I hate him.
No, I'm married.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have a girlfriend.
Okay. And how long have you been together?
Which one? Oh, well, those.
Go first.
Mine's 7 years.
7 years? Okay.
Yeah, mine is 6 years.
Beating you, bitch.
Okay. So both of you have passed 3-year hump and 5-year hump. The one that's upcoming is 10-year hump.
Oh shit.
That's the worst one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the most difficult.
That's make
Why
or break.
That? What makes the 10-year hump difficult?
It's usually when people in like just in big research, when people report like the most bored of their partner.
I wonder how much that has to do with like life in general. Because if you're together 10 years, you're like at the 35, 40 year mark in your relationship.
And you're just like sick of your life in general.
Yeah, you're just working all the time, trying to get ahead. I wonder if it has to play all together, right?
Like a midlife crisis probably time and all that. Don't you like change as a person every like several years too?
Every
don't
decade.
you?
Yeah.
Like, is it a decade?
I think it's a decade.
Is that a real thing?
I don't know. Ask the doctor.
Hey doc, what you got here? Is it a real thing? Give it to us straight.
Well, new research would show like you change every year. Like there's little parts of your brain, like in studies with brain scan will show that you would technically change every year. And usually it's for the better. Usually. Not for everybody.
You seem pretty positive about everything. I feel like everything that's going on now with like dating apps and everybody's just hooking up. Nobody's really staying in relationships for long term anymore. You watch these TV shows on like Netflix, like Too Hot to Handle and stuff. And they're just like, we just want to fuck and nobody stays together. And it's like, do you think that's healthy for humankind? Do you think we've gotten to the social construct of like, you need to be with someone for 40 years and stay with them forever and, you know, follow religious practices and stuff? Or do you think this is the way we're supposed to be and not monogamy, not monogamy. And like, we should just have several partners and kind of
monogamy is a sex position that I like.
What is it?
Am I saying it wrong?
No. Well, no.
Just kidding. It is monogamy.
You need to get a T-shirt made that way.
I thought that was an actual sex position.
I feel like I was saying it wrong, but it might be. You have to have
People will believe me when I say anything. So.
I know. I'm sure you can just make shit up all the time.
You sound smart.
You look smart and sound smart. You can just say bullshit.
I love that question, you know, because it's so complex. Like, I love that question, and let's talk about it. Like, what do you guys think? Do you feel like people are meant for monogamy, one person, 45 years?
I don't know. If a relationship's supposed to be like work and like you work through it, then I think so. But there's so many people nowadays that go through that 40 or 30 year mark and then they'll get divorced now. Like before it was like forbidden, don't get divorced. Now you see these people, but they have nowhere left to go after they've gotten divorced. They're pretty much, I don't know, 60 or 70. I mean, they still do get with another partner, but it's like, they were like, man, we should have got divorced 20 years ago or something. So I don't know.
I have kids. I have 4 children. And Mike and I talk about this all the time, this exact question. And I feel like it's not biologically like part of my human structure to like be with one person, because there's an urge to always explore, right? That's just, I don't know. As a male, I think that's pretty common, but it's like, I don't want to hurt my kids. You know what I mean? Like I can't hurt this family unit. So I think that's what probably keeps a lot of relationships together is, of course I love my wife, you know, I don't want to seem like I don't love my wife, but I think there's like this urge from a male perspective to want to explore other relationships.
Yeah. So we're really touching upon so many different aspects. Like first, is it normal biologically? Then is it normal socially? Is it normal morally? Right. And then, yeah, just in general, like societally, we have become a monogamous society, you know, ever since the end of the hunter-gatherer era. Humans have then become more and more monogamous each era, and really cemented with like, you know, the rise of Christianity, Judaism, Islam. With the rise of these organized religions, we came to know monogamy as the only option for good people. If you're good, you partake in monogamy. And now, have there been societies in the world that have not participated in monogamy? Hell yeah. It's just not talked about. There are many little societies around the world that practice polyamory, polygamy, polyandry, where, you know, group love, group relationships are their norm. Now, when I talk about that to people here, they think it's fucking weird. Yeah. They're like, oh, it's like that fucking weird cult. I'm like, is it weird if it's their norm? It's only weird for us because it's not our norm, right? It's not weird to people that, let's say, that eat puffer fish every day. Like, it's not weird for them to eat that, but it's weird for us to eat it, right? So it's the same thing. Like, there is a Nepali tribe that has been polyandry for a long time. That's one woman, multiple men.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and that's norm. Like, that's normal. If
That's
she's
girl
like,
power.
oh, you only have one husband, what?
The fuck's wrong with
Right?
you?
I have like a group of brothers, like, 4 guys, like they're siblings, and they're all married to me. So I think, is it
The train always comes through at midnight.
yeah. You never know what sizes you want in a day. Like, oh, I want brother B this time.
Oh my gosh. Hopefully they don't call each other
one brother
brothers.
loves pegging, like loves being pegged. So if you're in a mood, then you call on that brother. But I think at the end of the day, it depends on which theorist you're talking to. Because you can talk to someone who is like, monogamy is absolutely bonkers. Like, we are unreasonable to think like human can be monogamous or should be monogamous. Like, if you talk to some people, they will say that. But then you'll talk to some people who is like, there's so many benefits to monogamy. Like, our society will not be here. America won't be here unless we were monogamous. And so it just depends on who you talk to. In my opinion, I think in this modern contemporary society where we have all of this information, we have the ability to like, raise ourselves to like higher self and be less judgmental, less jealous, and be more loving, and really just like improve ourselves as people. I think we can do monogamish. And that's a term that Dan Savage coined. And monogamish is like socially monogamous, which is like has a lot of benefits, and then sexually non-monogamous.
Are you in a relationship?
Yeah, I'm engaged.
Oh wow.
Monogamish?
Yeah.
Monogamish?
We are monogamish, yes.
No way.
We are monogamish. And I would not do it any other way.
How long have you been in
In a relationship?
Yeah.
3 years.
So how did you find your partner?
We met on the plane.
Really?
Yeah.
It's kind of perfect.
It's like a movie.
And then I'm like,
you drop your peanuts, and then he was like, "Oh, hey, are these yours?" Looked up in his eyes, and
yeah, like, do you want to go to the bathroom?
Now I know.
Is there ever any like jealousy that he experiences?
There's gotta be.
I think for both of us, it's a lot of adjustment, just like everybody else. It's nothing is easy. Like, even monogamy is not easy. And it's an adjustment, but I think we're both like very logical people, and we're also very trusting. So for me, like, let's say we have a threesome and it's like with another girl. Well, I'm also bisexual, so that probably helps. But like, if we have when we have a threesome with another girl, then, we make sure that process is so collaborative. Like, number one, like, we pick the woman together. Like, I have to be very attracted to her, then he's attracted to her, then we communicate with her together. We make sure that it's something that, I also don't like, having group sex with newbies. So, she's participated in a threesome before or some kind of sex party. And everything's collaborative as long as, he and I are on the same page of what we're doing. I see no problem with that. It's actually really fun and really connecting to be able to do something like that together, because it's kind of like, it gives you this mentality of like us versus the world almost, because it's so taboo. It allows you to feel like, yeah, like we're awesome.
Yeah, probably connects you on a different level because y'all are doing something so taboo.
Yeah. We're socially monogamous. So like, we're not going to date another person. We have no time. We're so busy. But we're down to, have threesomes. We're down to go to a sex party. We're down to go to Amsterdam and have sex with a sex worker. Things like that.
So, but you won't so you'll do that, like threesomes and go do organized things. But what if you went like on date night? Like, what if you went out and then found someone, and you would just go home with him, or he would go home with someone? Would that be acceptable as well?
No.
So that's a little different.
So that's not in our understanding of our monogamish. Yeah. But some people will do that, and that's totally cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So for us, it's like group participation.
Okay. And you don't, neither you or him get jealous at all when like they're interacting with the other person?
I'm trying to even think about the last time I felt jealous. Maybe like maybe if he's hiding something. And I think there was like only one time in the past where like it wasn't intentionally hiding from me, but it was just like, oh, I forgot to tell you, I fucked this girl before. Like before us knowing each other, like, oh, this is my fuck buddy before. But like I didn't know that. So like that made me a little uncomfortable because I like knowing all the information. And that's the big part of monogamish is like not doing stuff behind each other's back. Like let's do everything together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's fun, like going to a sex party, or organizing a sex party, or, you know, like doing things that are non-traditional in a way that allows both of us to like engage in that as well is fun.
When y'all are picking out the, you know, this other person, has there ever been a time where he's found someone like just so attractive and you didn't see, like, you thought that she was the ugliest person you ever laid eyes on? Like, like you're like, what the hell? We would
never do that. We like participate from the very, like from choosing.
Right. I know. But when y'all are like going through, like, and y'all are talking about these people and he's like, oh, I like this one. And you're like, oh, what the hell are you talking about? Has there ever been any cases like that?
No.
So y'all are pretty like even on the even lane with that.
And we like people that are like intellectually like compatible with us. So if that person loves talking about like, you know, improvements or meditation or like just generally like self-improvement stuff, then we'll most likely like them.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a lot of personality too, I guess, huh?
A lot of, so you have to talk to them first. Like I would never just have sex with someone that I thought was hot because it's like I don't connect that way.
Yeah.
I figured it'd be
I probably could if I was drunk.
Yeah, just gotta get drunk. I figured it'd be a little weird though if you thought the girl was more attractive than you. Yeah. That might be like give you a complex. Like if I picked a guy that's like jacked and like attractive, I'd be like, I don't know if I will feel good looking at that. You know?
Would you have a threesome with another girl?
With another girl, not another guy.
I know. So so I don't think I could have a threesome with a guy. Yeah. Have y'all ever done that? Have you and your
There's no way.
fiance?
We can do it. We can do anything.
Really?
But have y'all?
A guy, a girl, a trans. It's not we're all inclusive. Like we're not. We're really open minded, and not necessarily that there's something wrong if you don't want to do it. It's just that like I think it's fair if I want to participate with another man that like both of us agree on which man. Yeah. But I think the misunderstanding with threesomes for a lot of people is that the men have to somehow sexually interact. They don't have to.
What do you mean?
The men don't have to sexually
with
interact.
Each other.
Right. Yeah. They think like, oh no, like, you know, it's quote unquote, it's gay or whatever. Like it's not, because you don't have to interact with, you know, other people with another guy if you don't want to. And when it comes to like men seeing other people's penises or even like touching it, I think men just have like a lot more like harder time than women, because women are a lot more like sexually fluid. We will see a girl and we're like, oh my God, I love you so much. We're like sisters and we'll kiss. But for men, I think it's just never been in their socialization. That's like, dude, nice dick, bro, high five, right? Like it's not in socialization, which is okay. But there are some men, like especially European men, that are completely fine with that. Like you will see a lot more European men like participating in like gangbang, for example, where it's like one woman, 5 men, and they're okay because they grew up going to like saunas with 8 other men and seeing dicks and touching it and touching, you know, Yeah.
In the sauna?
It's just so different because like Americans and Europeans are different and Asians are different. So it's all kind of just different. But just remember this, like, you know, when you go to a sex party, you will see other dicks and you just can't, you know, be like, ugh, or, you know, you can't give judgmental reactions or else you get kicked out and you can never come back again. So that's kind of like a little test where if I coach like a couple or a guy and it's their first time going to a sex party, I tell them first, like, the number one thing is don't give judgmental like reactions because then you're out.
Do you know who Ashley Renard is?
Ashley
Renard?
Mm-mm.
She does like how to keep monogamy hot. Similar content. She's an author, and she's also kind of like a couples therapist. But she was talking about like sex clubs, and she said the atmosphere is like one of a kind. She says that she's never experienced like going to a normal club with a bunch of douchey guys is like one of the worst experiences as a female. But going to these sex clubs, you know, the women are complimenting you. The men are real nice gentlemen. It's like a completely different atmosphere there.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I think because
Sex
everybody's on the
clubs are
same
amazing.
page too, and everybody's gonna get lucky pretty much. It's, right?
Yeah, sex clubs are really fun, and like swing clubs are fun.
What's the
Are
difference?
you guys in Texas?
Yeah.
Houston.
Yeah, there's a famous sex club there.
Really?
The owners have been on TV like so many times. I think they have this book called Open Love, and they are the owners of that swing club. I don't
What's it
remember the
called?
name.
Oh,
You remember? I have to look it up.
Yeah.
so what's the
If you Google swingers club near me, it's gonna come up.
what's the difference between
and like bring your girlfriend and wife.
Yeah, I'm sure. What's the difference between sex club and swing club? I know what swing club is, but what's sex club is just singles going there?
No, not particularly. So yes, swingers is like couples playing with other couples, solely. But a sex club can be it depends on what event they're throwing that night. They could be throwing a singles night, then it's not for couples. They could be throwing a couples night, then it's only for couples. Then they could be also throwing just a mixer where it's like naked mixer where you go in there, get naked and have drinks and, you know, maybe you touch but no sex and then you go home. And then there's like cuddle party where you get naked or like skimpy clothes and then you just cuddle, no sex. But then there's also sex party where you go in with the intention of like, oh, I'll probably hook up with someone tonight. There's also, you know, themed ones, like it could be anime night. It could be BDSM night. So sex clubs will have like just regular club days where you can go grab a drink, maybe chat up with other people, maybe and maybe not get with them. But then oftentimes it's more like parties where they will organize it based on theme.
So refresh my memory again, Tara. You're a professor at
Cal State University, Fullerton. Yeah.
The work you're doing is very taboo. Especially in America. What kind of support do you get from the university? I guess, does the dean call you in the office like, hey, you're gonna have to tone it down a little bit because you're saying clit way too much on Instagram? I mean, do they support everything? I imagine they're supportive, but
yeah, they are. So my dean is supportive. She's seen like, you know, what I'm doing on social media, what I'm doing just like in media in general. She is supportive. She's also like an Asian woman, so she's like, good for you. And yeah, like everyone has been very supportive. But I feel very secure because I'm also tenured. And in the professorial system in America, that's like the highest level you can go is becoming a tenured professor. So when you first get a job, you're an assistant professor, right? And then you submit your profile every year to get evaluated. And then 6 years pass, you apply for tenure and promotion. Then you become an associate professor, and then you either get or you don't get tenure. I already got tenure, which means you can't fire me.
I mean, you're in your 30s, and I feel like getting tenured. it's not common to be in your 30s and have that type of title. How'd you do it? So how'd you do it?
I worked really hard.
Yeah.
I was on a hamster wheel a long time. And yeah, I worked really hard. I publish a lot, and yeah, it is definitely difficult to get it. But now that I do, I feel like I can take a breather. And ever since I got tenure, I was able to then transition a little bit into this like media and mass media world, which is something recent for me.
And for me and those who don't know, what is the route? What is the education route to go where you went? Like, what is the base of that education?
Yeah, there are so many. So for those of you that are listening, there are so many ways. And also there's no like age limit. You could be 40 and now like drop your corporate job and try to become a sex coach. Like I know specifically one person, Court, and he's so successful now. He hosts these like retreats for men to like revamp their sexuality, and so many people attend his retreats. And he used to work in corporate for a long time, and he just say fuck it, and then he got certified and became a sex coach. So it's really, if you're passionate, like there's no age limit to start. For me, I went kind of traditional route. So I went to college, then got my master's, then got my PhD. I studied human communication, but in the context of relationships and sex. And then afterwards, I got a job as a professor. And then as a professor, you have to do a lot of research, go speak at conferences. So that's kind of my route. Then after tenure, I started my coaching practice and became a coach part-time. So with like my PhD and, I wrote a textbook and stuff like that, it has given me like a lot of like pedigree. So it allows me to appear on media a lot more. So like I'm on Cosmo, Women's Health, Teen Vogue, KTLA, Pix 11. So it's easier when you have pedigree, and that's just the world we live in. I'm not saying it's the only way, because I know many sex coaches and educators that don't have advanced degrees that are very legitimate, very good at what they do. So that's my way. But if you're interested and you're like, fuck, I don't want to get a PhD, like I want to study, be in graduate school for 6 years, what can I do? There are many organizations that will certify you to become a sex coach, sex educator, a sex surrogate, and you can start working in that realm. Like sex surrogate, not a lot of people know about that. Do you guys know about sex surrogate?
No. What the hell is that?
It's a therapy type where you can go have sex with a sex surrogate.
What? Really?
Yeah, it's completely legal in the United States.
What is it? What is it for?
They teach you how to have sex or what?
Yeah.
Really?
So they teach you how to have sex, like teach you different types of touch, maybe help you heal from some type of trauma or anxiety, help you heal from like erectile dysfunction. That's like psychological. There's so many things. There's so many benefits to this type of therapy. It's called sex surrogacy. Basically, you go have sex with a surrogate, and it could be penetrative sex. It may not be penetrative sex, but it just depends on the therapy plan.
So the therapist is the surrogate? Or is it just a person they hire?
It's a triad model. So you work with a sex therapist, like talk therapy, and then the sex therapist will assign you or refer you to a surrogate.
That's a person, right? It sounds like it's a robot.
You want to apply?
As opposed to what?
I don't know, a robot.
Blow up doll or what?
Well, I mean, it's saying surrogate is like almost humanless. So it's so they find someone that wants
like pregnancy surrogate.
Yeah, but like it doesn't involve sex. It's not supposed to.
Right. No, it doesn't. But yeah, sex surrogate is a certified, completely legal type of therapy. I know many sex surrogates that are very like good at what they do in helping people heal from whatever they need to heal from. So it's a very legitimate way of just learning about sex.
I imagine those people fall in love with the surrogates.
Yes.
Oh, I bet.
It's common. I want to see that percentage. See that
Oh
data.
yeah, actually, I'm releasing an episode for my podcast in 2 weeks, and it's about it's with a professional surrogate, and she said, yeah, like you can't help. Sometimes you're the first person that has touched him,
Oh shit.
so he will then like proceed to fall in love with her, and all that.
That's
Oh, wow.
some deep shit right there.
I never knew that. You taught me something like I thought I knew everything.
I learned a lot today.
I thought I knew everything.
Well, a lot of men that are my clients are really interested in having me like refer them to a sex surrogate or where sex work is legal, which is really the only place is in Nevada.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, Vegas.
Isn't that so dumb? Like all the stuff that's legal right now, like sex, like you can't buy sex, and that's stupid. Like when is that? Like I feel like marijuana is something like that's we need to get over. Something needs to be done, and then like sex.
Is it not legal in Texas?
No, not.
What about CBD?
I think CBD. So medical marijuana is legal. You can have a prescription in Texas.
Okay. And do you have the prescription?
Not yet. Well, no, because the company we work for is.
Yeah, even if it gets legal, as like the jobs won't allow you to do it. So.
Oh yeah.
Coming soon.
Well,
though,
I'm in
hopefully.
LA, so we've had it a long time.
I know.
We're all high over here.
Yeah.
Did the jobs change though? Did like change their requirements, or is it still like the jobs that didn't allow it still don't allow it, or did they like start changing?
I'm not a good person to answer that because my job doesn't do like P tests or anything.
Mm. Okay, well that makes sense then. Yeah.
Hope I don't get tested anytime soon. Well, Dr. Tara, we had a great time. How can people follow your podcast, follow you on social media, and stay in touch with you?
Yes, you guys can go to my website. That's luvbites.co, luvbites.co, and all my stuff's on there. Thanks for having me.
Yep, you're amazing. Love the work you're doing. All right. Well, thank you so much. You have a wonderful
You're
day. And a
welcome.
great
This was
weekend.
fun. You guys are great.
Appreciate it. You too.
You.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Yeah, what a good little threesome.
That's how we'll end it right
I
there.
love it. Love it.
Okay, bye guys.
Thank you. See
Have
you
fun
later.
fucking tonight.
Bye.
Bye.